Whoops. G'day, everybody. It's Tuesday, the 5th of August, and it's a couple of minutes, 3 minutes past 8 in the morning here. So that means it's early evening in Europe and, a little bit later, or a little bit earlier in England. And America, it's the afternoon and so on. So good to be here again. It's a real boat race out there, which is fantastic. No complaints about what's going on right now. And Jasmine just put up a really cool post, or Jasmine's mum just put up a really cool post explaining what's going on in her life, sailing solo around the world. Every now and then I stop and think that's pretty cool, because I've been watching. There's a lead up going on to the mini Transat race with the class 650s, which is going to be super competitive, and it's super fast and it's super exciting. I like all forms of sailing, it's really cool. And it's a quick blast across the Atlantic. They get across in a couple of weeks. It's sort of crazy, really quite interesting. And then I thought, hang on a minute, we're actually going around the world and we're a long way into it. It's a lot of transatlantics all wrapped up into one. So even for me, it's still very surprising. Every now and then I sit back and take a step sideways and look at cheap as these little boats are heading around the world. I had another interesting thing happen just a minute ago. I completely forgot about the reefs. There's some really interesting reef areas to the south of the Solomons, and I haven't been up there for, in that part of the world since the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s. And, God, when you see that reef, you think, cheapers, if you were cruising up there and you stopped off there for a while, I'd say they'd be pretty close to pristine reefs, amazing life. So I'm not saying I'm going to get up there, but I thought, oh, cheapers, that'd be good if we finally, when we retire, get on the road and head up through Vanuatu again and just stop off at those reefs. I'll show you in a minute when we get on the tracker what I mean. There's a lot of amazing stuff in the Pacific. No, I've never really seriously cruised the Med. But I just saw some friends and other people, cruising the Med at the moment, having a great time, great restaurants, marinas, great islands in Greece and blah, blah, blah. But honestly, our world is down here in the Pacific. To me, you can, that's where we come from in terms of being in Australia. You get out in the Pacific and it's like, wow, you can spend a long time out here. And it's all about, the water. Anyway, I digress. We've got a few people turning up now, so we'll. And I flashed this little thing up here just to remind people that's a poster that we did a long time ago, and it explains a lot of different things. Anyway, straight to the tracker. So you're on the tracker, and I'm now on the tracker. So when you look right there. In fact, that reminds me, I need to do something about getting a cursor. You can't see my cursor. But if you look at Josh down here, and in fact, when I do that, I'm assuming you can actually see the speed box. I've got my cursor on Josh's position there, and I've never asked. I'm assuming you can, or is it just my imagination? I'm not sure. Anyway, those reefs just to the northeast of Josh, when you blow that up, it looks mind-boggling. And I thought, wow, what a great place. And there looks like there's passes to get in there. And it's not really on the normal track, so not many people would go there. And it'd be stunning. Anyway, I digress. Here's the race. Kerry and Renault are having fun. I'll just see if we've got the right timeline. Yep, we have for everyone. So it's current. Dan's hanging in there as well. Pila's trying to catch up, get in the lead group. I won't put her there officially yet because there's the lead group is further away than the mid group. So Pila is the leader of the main pack, and Ayrton's bringing up the rear, and down the bottom here Christian is trying hard to catch up to the middle pack. So there we go, put the wind on here, and here it comes, boom. Okay, as it shows right there, fantastic sailing, and no one's complaining. Everyone's making good speeds. It's just awesome. So touch wood, makes you want to get out there and do this mini globe race. So coming down to Christian here, he's slowly heading up. He's not heading up too quick, which is important, because if he goes up like that and then turns to the left, he's wasted distance. So, but there his course is going to, sort of head up over here, something like 154 east longitude, something like that. up here, and as you can see, this is where they're all going. They're going to, I would imagine most are going to cut through the reef here. There is another option to come right up the top by Daru, okay, where you come up over the top of the reef and then head down southwest towards Thursday Island. But as I mentioned before, that's got some challenges as well. So let's wait and see what happens. They can go anywhere they want, and we'll see who's going to go through the reef versus out the other side. We're going to talk about sleep patterns as well, because Jasmine put that post up, or Mum did, talking about sleep, and it's a favourite subject of mine in some ways. So we'll talk about that at the end of it. So let's just pick this up now and walk you through the fleet. Down here, Christian is doing 6.1. He's sped up a bit. He's really trying hard. Hang on a minute, I can't. Shit, I can't. There we go. So he's doing 6.1, and he did a 115-mile day. So definitely not going slow at the moment. Working hard to get back in the game. Not that he's out of the game, but you know, he's certainly a long way south. Ayrton only doing 3.8 knots in the last 4 hours. Maybe slept in, not sure. It's showing a good breeze, so you would think he's should be sailing faster than that. He's done 79-mile day, which is not a lot, but it's still okay. He's having a good time. There you go. Gary's doing the same. So maybe this wind forecast showing at the moment, which is showing sort of 15 knots or something, maybe the direction is further aft, so the apparent wind is lower or something. But Gary's done pretty much the same, 79-mile day and 3.4 knots. Jasmine, having a good sleep, I hope. 4.2 knots, did 81-mile day. Yeah, it sounds like the wind's a bit softer back there, so they're all sailing well. Josh is lagging behind a bit here. He's done a couple of funny little legs there. Not much breeze, obviously. You can see he's not a lot behind it, but I'm not picking up on him. Save images, copy image, inspect. I don't know what that is. I'm getting some funny screens. 3.2 knots, 75-mile day, so it's been soft for Josh as well. Eric on a roll, 5 knots and 101-mile day. And then Adam, 5.2 knots, 102-mile day. Jacob, 5.5. He was actually moving on the previous 5 hours. He was doing a bit more than that. But anyway, still managed 107. So Eric, he's pulled away from Eric a little bit, and he's pulled away from Adam a little bit. So Jacob, if you're watching, you're doing okay. And Pila doing 5.5, 121-mile day. So she's back in the hunt. You can see that. She's stretched out a little bit from Jacob, but Jacob's got her in his sights for sure. So 121, Jacob's 107. So that's 13, 14 miles. So nearly half a knot faster, over half a knot faster for the whole day. So Pila's done okay there, but she's still got to break the halfway mark between the lead pack before we put her in the lead pack. And now I can't pull this down. So here we go. Kerry looks as if he's still behind Dan. 5.9 knots and 130-mile day. We'll look at the currents in a minute because that might be assisting. Dan, 5.2 and only 117. He was doing better than that in the previous 4 hours. So slowed down a little bit. And Kerry certainly kicked on. It could be the current because remember yesterday they were looking as if they were sitting up there. Ooh, he's closing in on Renaud. And Renault's doing 6.3. So there you go. The local current speed in the last 4 hours is there is a difference there. Kerry's only done 5.9 knots. Renault's done 6.3, so he's picked up in the last 4 hours for sure. But he's only done 129 miles, and Kerry's done 130. So the last 24 hours, you got a mile out of him, Kerry. So, and let's look at the distance. We'll see how it goes using the distance of the finish. So Kerry is on 269, near enough. 269, the last 3 digits, 269. And Renault is on 248, or say 49, 59.69, near enough to 20 miles behind. So that's 20 miles. It's only 4 hours. So Kerry's in the hunt. And if we look at Dan, he's 270 versus Kerry, 268. So Kerry's actually coming second at the moment. I wonder if that'll show on the leaderboard. Should do. So just by a mile or so, Kerry has now taken up second position. And then after that, it goes pretty much down the line as you see it there. They're all racked up. Peeler, Jacob, Eric, Adam, Josh, Jasmine, and Gary, and Urton. So where's Christian? Oh, yeah, he's way down the back. So Christian's not quite there yet. But that's all cool. So let's look at the 2-day weather forecast, or what they're likely to get, whether it's going to increase in strength or stay the same or something. So there it is. There, I hit that. Now I'm going to move it forward every 3 hours. So generally speaking, looks like it's getting lighter at the beginning for Christian, and then the mid-pack is still in the breeze, but Kerry and Renault and Dan and Josh have got good stuff. That's okay. That's going through. Yeah, plenty of breeze. And if you look at that again, 24 hours out, Christian's got the lightest amount of breeze, so it's going to be harder for him, but he's doing okay. So there we go on the 5th. We're into the 6th. So, yeah, it's pretty much staying the same. So they're sailing into breeze. Oh, it's straight, the light wind area for Christian is still extending forward. So if Christian's out here, he's still going to be, it's 120 miles. Yeah, he's going to have a slow day. So I don't think he's going to be able to gain too much in the next couple of days on the pack. He might hold his own, but he may even lose a bit of ground on that. The mid-pack's not got quite as much breeze as the leaders, because they're a little bit further south, but it's debatable. I think it's debatable. I think they're all going to be pretty much the same. It's just showing a trend. If you look up the top, there's a bit of yellow above Kerry and Renault, so that's suggesting, even though you can't quite pick the green slant, there's might be just a little bit more puff up the top. So Kerry and Renault may just pull a little bit away from Dan, but we'll have to wait and see. So I'll just click it through fast now. Let me get that going. Here we go. Let's see what the next days bring. There's this 7th, couple of days. Not getting any stronger. It's what I said yesterday. Real boat race. Oh, that's going to slow the whole fleet down there a little bit. That's on the 9th, 4 days away. But it's fantastic sailing. Beautiful sailing. Trade wind stuff. And generally pretty good. Let's have a look at the leaderboard here just to see where it's at. Yep, Kerry's moved into second position, so everything seems to be working there. Their speeds look pretty right. VMG looks pretty right. We've got it from the start. If we look at from recent, it's still looking okay. That's all quite okay and respectable numbers. I won't get into the ETAs and stuff because it's still too far out, but there we go, right the way down. So, yeah, I'll just pull this down here. And we'll take John and Mike and Dan Turk off. Dan's off, but the others are still there. Although they look as if they're not pinging since we haven't put them back in the race, so that's fine. Anyway, you can see John. John and Popeye are still on the tracker, so you can see where they are. They're having John's having fun cruising around. And I think Popeye went back to Vanuatu. I'm not sure. I've got to track him down today to do the interview. So that's all there is. Not a lot to say about the leaderboard at the moment. So we'll come back here and put on. There we go. And now you've got me. Okay. Rightio. So my favourite subject first, before we get into who's there, is just sleep patterns. It's amazing. Whenever I see like an Amoka guy or whatever, they're in a league of all their, of their own. They're super athletes. They do so much psychological preparation, working with experts. They work with sleep deprivation experts. They really hype themselves up because it's all about being a peak athlete, right? And some of those guys, when they talk about only sleeping 20 minutes at a time or half an hour at a time, 20 minutes at a time, I completely agree with what they're doing, because that's what you've got to do if you're at that level and you've got some guy breathing down your neck at 30 knots, and you're out there there's all this stuff happening. They're like pilots with muscles. They've got to pilot the thing and fly it with all the instruments and all that sort of stuff. And they're really sailing to computers. The computers do the, I won't say do the work, but the computers give them lots of options. And once they choose an option with their routing program, the computer will tell them, you're not going fast enough. The computer, I'm telling you, the skipper, that you need to change the sail, you need to change the sheeting point, because they have numbers on all the sheeting. It's a numbers game. They're just sailing to the numbers. And the computer will tell them if they're going slow or if they're in the groove and things like that. So it's a totally different ball game. So yes, some of those guys and girls, most will go through the really short gaps for sleep, 20 minutes at a time, 20 minutes at a time. But I can tell you what, they can't do it 24 hours a day. So don't worry. They're going to have to get some proper sleep at some time. And if they don't do it as a planned management system, their body will tell them they're about to crash. And so they have to stop no matter what. You've got to go from there. And there's this funny thing a lot of people don't realize. Let's say this is ground zero for sleep, right? This is when you're pretty normal. If you don't get sleep, a good bit of sleep, and you're only sleeping for half an hour at a time and all that stuff, you're slowly coming down a few notches, right? And you got to try and catch up. So say if that's gone to that level, to catch up, you've got to get sleep, and it'll take you, say, 3 hours to get from there, or you've got to get an 8-hour sleep to get back up, right? So that's to come down to that level, you've got to get 8 hours to get back to normal, a good 8-hour sleep. If you get down to this one, which is double, so it's only 3 units down for the first lot, and another 3 units, you get to 6. You'd think it's got 2 lots of 8-hour sleep, but it's not. It's probably 3 lots of 8-hour sleep, because it's like a sine curve, where the deeper you go, the more sleep you're lacking. It takes you twice as much and 3 times as much or more to catch up. It's not just 3 units down, 3 units back, 3 units down, 3. It's not. When you go down 3 units, yes, it takes you that much to go back. But if you go down 6 units, it's not just 2 lots to get back there. You've got to go 3 lots to catch up. So it's really important that you don't allow yourself to get too tired, because it takes you so much longer to get back. And when you're really tired, you make mistakes, you can't think straight, things like that. And, the way I sail when I'm sailing solo, and even, the only decent sail we've had recently was 2,000 miles from Tahiti to here, sailing with Jane. We don't do normal watches like some people do, always having someone in the cockpit, even though we could. I do a risk assessment, value judgment, and then often, sometimes during the day in good weather, we're both sleeping, you just put it in the bank. But, I found when I sailed the 580, I was there to perform, but I wasn't peak athlete. I wasn't frantic about sailing and racing and up there adjusting everything, because I wanted to enjoy the ride. And I would let my body talk, and I'd know when I needed sleep. And if you had nothing to do, I'd try and sleep to put it in the bank for when you had things to do. So I'm very skeptical when a lot of sailors, and I'm not, I'm talking normal sailors in normal races and this, that, and the other. When they say, I've just sailed around the world and I never got more than half an hour sleep at a time. I think that's throwing in a bit of, it's not like that. You can't do that. You've got to stop every now and then to get sleep. And, I can tell you a story, so many different stories, but one, there was a case of a guy who'd done a solo trans-Tasman race from New Zealand to Queensland. And basically what happened was he was on a tracker. This goes back many years. It probably goes back about 30 years now. Some of the Australians, if they're watching this, they may remember it. But the deal was, the guy, he was sailing his boat, and the course, the tracking was just erratic, and it was going really strange. And in the end, people started to get worried about it. And so they sent a boat out. It was out off Brisbane to meet up with him, because the last lot he was just losing the plot completely. And effectively, he was completely dehydrated, going a bit la-la, because he'd just been lacking sleep, and all of a sudden he didn't know what he was doing, and then he forgot to sleep, and then he was completely dehydrated. He was peeing honey. It was that bad. It was in a bad way. But anyway, he got in, and so you've got to look after your sleep, right? And, bottom line, when I was saying Trekker, I got too much sleep. I won the seniors division, in the Transat, in Trekker. But certainly, I go back to when I did the Round the World race and things like that, I always was careful about my sleep. became second in the class at the time. And you've got to do that. And I look at some people, what they say about, blah, blah, blah. I mean, yes, at times it can get really demanding, but at other times you just have to manage that. It's as important as your boat. So you can't sail around the world like average guys. I won't talk about the Imokas because they're peak athletes and they do incredible things. And other things, but you have to sleep, and sometimes people ramp it up a bit. So there you go. Anyway, enough of that. So everyone's got an opinion on that, and you've got to look after your health and blah, blah, blah. So, but it's certainly fun out there at the moment. G'day, Jonathan. G'day, Brian. Still no intro. Oh, the bloody video didn't go. I don't know what's going on there. I got to think. Thank you for that. I didn't replay the last one, so we might have to. What we're going to do should be simple. Always used to be, but anyway. Good job, Christian, for fighting through the suck and getting back on track. Might have a chance to catch up in the middle pack. Yeah, he will. Don't worry. As they're converging, I think he'll get there, but he's just losing out a little bit again because he's got less wind. But he's doing a great job, and he's doing good videos too. Yes, Jane's putting the videos together when we get them. Some people are doing, they're the ones that are doing it. Great. We finally got one from Renault, which is cool. And haven't seen anything from Kerry yet. Haven't seen anything from, we got a few from Ayrton. Yeah, they're all slowly dribbling in, which is good. So I can see your cursor. That's interesting. Someone said the other day they couldn't see my cursor. Maybe it was when I had a picture on or something. So that's good. Thank you, Roger. We can see the cursor now. Perfect. Okay. Heidi, g'day. We can see your cursor. Everyone's in the cursor. Thanks, Steve. G'day, Pete. Ray, Christian Tracker didn't update it. Okay. Thanks for that. So he must have been. I'll have a look in a minute. I'll go back and have a look and estimate where he is. That may be. Obviously, I checked a couple, but I don't check them all. I'm not looking. I should have just seen that. Okay, the video they are sharing this leg are great. Keep them coming. Yeah, I've asked them to show more things. In fact, I was relaxing last night very late. I looked at one of the YouTube channels, some of the, just the normal sailing channels. It's what is it? Sailing Evans or something. Anyway, they did a video, and it had 900,000 views. Goes for an hour and a half. And it's really good for the simple pretext is they just live with the camera, They're just doing all normal stuff. And in fact, it was funny because this was a couple of years ago, and jeepers, they're sailors. But honestly, they were sailing to Guatemala, and everyone sails different ways. But it was, the seas are about 1.5 to 2 meters or something, and they got a squall come through. They were saying it's 40 knots. Didn't quite look 40 knots. But they just dropped all the sails and motored directly into it. Just put down the boats, rocking around all over the place, and blah, blah, blah. I couldn't believe they dropped all the sails. But anyway, and that was their life. They got a couple of dogs on board. It was really cool. But it's interesting because they always got the camera running. It's all cameras all over the place. But sometimes she's got one on her head or he's got blah, blah, blah. And it's very interesting to watch if you're a voyeur. And that's how a lot of those things work. And I felt like grabbing that and sending a link to all of the 580 entrants and say, look, just keep the camera rolling. Hang on to it. Do anything. Because that's what people enjoy. We got talking heads. Talking heads are good, but it's good to see what's going on. So, but they're getting better at it. And we'll keep plugging it. So thanks to all the entrants that are giving us the videos. Okay. Christian is ahead of Ayrton. Very good. So he's caught up to the pack already. I might have missed the videos this year. Yeah, thanks, Kyle. Morning. It'll see Jane is Tuesday morning in Darwin. Yep, cool. Actually, severe health effects after impaired judgment. Yeah, exactly. You don't want to get too far behind on sleep. Don't forget 2 Vendys ago, Boris Herman hit a fishing boat on the last night, costing him the win on corrected time. You're right. He was asleep and the alarms didn't wake him. The alarms issue is an interesting one. We're just about to, hopefully very shortly, put the video up, a little film. We've done a little film on Tapio Lethenham, who lost his boat Asteria in the GGR in 22. Anyway, he had 3 or 4 different alarm clocks, wind-up alarms, because we didn't allow electronic clocks and stuff. And he slept through them all on another occasion and nearly went up the beach into rocks in the Canaries. And so and we were watching it live real time, right? We sitting here, Jane and I remember the conversation really well. I said, bloody hell, Tapio's going straight up into a dry valley, it's a dead end. And we're sitting there thinking, what do we do? What do we do? And I said, shit, it's getting really close. So we quickly rushed off a message on the YB3, which sends a ping and this, that, and the other. But anyway, fortunately, just at the last minute, literally within hundreds of meters from the end, bingo, he woke up and stuck his head out and bang, and turned around and got out. So we now have in the notice of race for the GGR and also for the MGR, this one, a very loud electronic alarm clock. In the GGR, it's even more. It has to have a strobe light, flashing strobe light, a minimum 100 decibel alarm, okay, electronic, with a 4-hour adjustable timer. So you can dial it up for up to 4 hours, and that's mandatory in the GGR. And for the MGR, I think we said 75 decibel. It's a smaller area and quieter boats, but they've got to have a 75 decibel alarm clock, and they were all tested here in Fiji again as part of their safety inspection. So, yeah, sleeping through the alarm at certain times, it's not a good thing. When you're at sea clear of everything, it's okay, but if you're heading to something, you need to wake up at times. So that's all cool. Okay, that's me done. Thanks, everybody. Sorry about the no video at the beginning. We'll hopefully be back tomorrow, and we'll see you then. I'm going to play it just one last try just to see. Nope, it's not that one. Come on. Now I can't even get it up. So that should be it. It's while I'm watching and listening down, if you've got no screen whatsoever, that's because it's not running good. Whoop, that's into the boat. Ooh, video capture. Anyway, have a good day. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.